The haunting melody. Deep within the dark, foreboding woods, nestled among the gnarled trees and overgrown shrubs, stood the abandoned cabin, shrouded in mystery. Its cracked walls and broken windows bore witness to the passage of time, and its wooden door creaked ominously as if warning intruders to turn back. Rumors of a cursed melody, whispered by the locals in hushed tones, swirled around the cabin like an ethereal mist. Tales of a long-lost musician who had once resided within its walls and composed a hauntingly beautiful melody that had unleashed an otherworldly presence were passed down from generation to generation, adding to the cabin's eerie reputation. Sarah, a young pianist with a hunger for the unknown, had heard the stories and felt drawn to the cabin's allure. Her fingers itched with curiosity, yearning to play the elusive melody on her beloved grand piano. Ignoring the cautionary tales, she embarked on a daring quest to find the cabin, driven by a relentless desire to unravel its mysteries. As Sarah ventured deeper into the dense forest, her senses were heightened, and her heart pounded with anticipation. The twisted branches seemed to reach out to her like skeletal fingers, and the rustling leaves whispered in eerie harmony, as if beckoning her to the cabin's location. At last, she stumbled upon the cabin, a dilapidated structure that loomed before her like a ghost from the past. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and a chill ran down Sarah's spine. Undeterred, she pushed open the creaking door, and the musty scent of decay greeted her senses. Stepping inside, Sarah's eyes widened in wonder as she beheld the remnants of the musician's life. The cobwebs that adorned the walls like a ghostly tapestry swayed gently in the breeze, and the moonlight filtered through the cracks in the roof, casting eerie shadows across the room. With trembling fingers, Sarah approached the grand piano that stood in the center of the room, its once polished surface now covered in dust. She ran her fingers lovingly over the keys, feeling a surge of excitement coursing through her veins. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. Without hesitation, Sarah positioned herself in front of the piano and began to play. The melody flowed from her fingertips, resonating with the cabin's eerie ambience. The notes danced in the air, creating a haunting symphony that seemed to echo through the walls of the cabin and beyond. As Sarah played, she felt a strange sensation, as if the melody was taking on a life of its own. The music seemed to have a mind of its own, pulling her deeper into its grip, and she was unable to resist its allure. Her fingers moved with increasing frenzy, lost in the enchantment of the melody. But then, the atmosphere in the cabin shifted. The air grew colder, and shadows danced along the walls. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she realized that she was not alone. She turned around, but there was no one there, only the empty cabin with its peeling walls and broken windows. A sense of foreboding washed over Sarah as she continued to play, the melody now taking on a darker, more sinister tone. The once beautiful music now sounded twisted and dissonant, as if it were mocking her. But Sarah was unable to stop. She was entranced, trapped in a musical spell that seemed to tighten its grip with every passing moment. With a sudden jolt, the piano keys beneath Sarah's fingers seemed to come alive, pressing down on their own, creating a cacophony of discordant notes that reverberated throughout the cabin. Sarah's eyes widened in horror as she realized that she had lost control. The cursed melody had taken over, and she was merely an instrument in its dark symphony. The shadows in the cabin seemed to come alive, swirling and shifting as if guided by an invisible force. Sarah's once joyous expression turned to one of sheer terror, as she realized that she had awakened something malevolent within the cabin. Her fingers trembled on the keys, but the melody continued to play, louder and more chaotic, as if urging her to play faster, harder, and louder. As Sarah tried to resist, the cabin seemed to close in on her, its walls seemingly closing in, trapping her in its suffocating embrace. The air grew colder, and the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive, making it hard for Sarah to breathe. Her fingers became numb, but the cursed melody continued to pour forth from the piano, now a cacophony of dissonant, demonic tones. Desperate to break free from the grip of the cursed melody, Sarah slammed her hands down on the keys, trying to force the music to stop. But the piano seemed to resist, the keys refusing to release, trapping her hands in their icy embrace. The melody intensified, now a twisted, demonic dirge that echoed through the cabin and into Sarah's very soul. Sarah's mind was a whirlwind of fear and confusion. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. Tears streamed down her face as she realized that she had fallen into the trap of the cabin, just like the musician who had vanished all those years ago. She was now doomed to be a part of its dark legacy, forever trapped in its clutches. As the cursed melody reached its crescendo, Sarah's vision blurred, and her strength gave out. She slumped against the piano, her body limp, her spirit broken. The melody slowly faded into silence, leaving only the oppressive silence of the cabin. The next morning, the locals found Sarah's lifeless body sitting at the piano, her hands still clasped to the keys. Her eyes were wide open, a look of eternal terror frozen on her face. The cabin stood silent once again, its cursed melody sated for now, waiting for the next unwitting soul to fall under its spell. And from that day on, the legend of the haunted cabin grew, with tales of the cursed melody and the tragic fate of Sarah the pianist. Locals warned travelers to stay far away from the cabin, for they could still hear faint echoes of the melody on moonlit nights, a chilling reminder of the cabin's malevolent power. And so, the cabin remained abandoned, its walls whispering the haunting melody to anyone who dared to venture too close, a reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some melodies are best left unplayed. The cursed melody of the cabin continues to echo through the ages, a dark and enduring legend that sends shivers down the spines of those who hear its haunting tune.